Hi, I'm Gary Korb, Executive Editor for Cigar Advisor Magazine. I'm here with my co-executive editor, Hayward Tenney,
Hi.
and we have a very special guest today, Charlie Torano from Torano Cigars. And as you might imagine, we're going to be smoking a Torano cigar this morning, and it's the original Vault cigar. This is a full-bodied cigar, and I'm just going to turn it right over to Charlie and let him tell you a little bit about the backstory of the cigar and how it came to be.
Well, guys, it's good to be here with you. And
Thank you.
The interesting thing about the Vault brand, this brand, the inspiration for it came from the fact that, I think most of us in the cigar industry, certainly those of us that are manufacturers and distributors, consider ourselves, we're like a blend laboratory, meaning we're always working on cigar blends. And over the years, my family's been involved a lot in private label manufacturing, not only for the Toranos, but for a lot of different companies. And over the years, beginning in roughly 1982, when my family started to transition from growing tobacco to getting into the cigar side of the business, my father started to keep a blend book. And so that blend book had all these different blends, literally from 1982 to the present, of just different things that were being experimented with over the years. Some that came to market and others that, for different reasons, didn't come to market, both, again, brands for ourselves and for others over time. So as a couple of years ago, when we were working on new blends and we were working on new releases for the family, we said, we have a blend book with all these neat blends. Instead of continuing to add to them, why don't we go back to some of these blends, see how we feel about them using today's tobacco, and maybe make some minor changes to those. So we keep the blend book in a vault, in a safe deposit box, really, in a bank in South Florida, of all places.
That's great.
So what we did was we called the brand Blends from the Vault because we went back to that vault, picked out some blends from that book.
Right.
And even if you look at the box, we don't have a box here, but if you look at the box style of the Vault, it's actually like a safety deposit box in terms of its shape. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, on the blend side, the cigar that we're smoking, the secondary band says A008, and the 00 stands for the year that blend was configured. In this case, it was in the year 2000. And the A and the 8 are different codings that we use in that book to denominate certain types of blends and also the number of the blend. And the neat thing about this blend is while we liked it on paper, again, we took tobaccos from today that were a little different. Tobaccos from today will taste slightly different than tobacco 12 years ago.
I see.
And so one of the differences we made to this blend, or one of the interesting things to me about this blend, it's really the first time that we use Ometepe tobacco. Mm-hmm. And Ometepe is from a volcanic island on Lake Nicaragua.
Yep.
I know that you guys are familiar with it, and you may have even visited there. Mm-hmm. And so we're using a double binder in this blend. This blend has a Nicaraguan wrapper. It has a double binder, which includes this Ometepe tobacco and also a binder from Jamastran, Honduras. And then we use a combination of different fillers from Nicaragua. But for many, many years, the tobacco from Ometepe was really dominated by a couple of cigar factories because there wasn't a lot of tobacco grown, and that tobacco was monopolized to a certain degree. And we always enjoyed it, but we never had enough of it to use.
Right.
And so we were finally able to get some of it. We combined it with the original blend that was made back in the year 2000. And what you have is the Vault A008, the first blend from the Vault that was released a couple of years ago.
Well, I can tell you right now, mine starts off with a bang.
No doubt
And it's
about
got to
it.
be that Ometepe going there because
But it ramps right up with a nice big full body, nice big full flavors. I think you get on the palate, and it's really kind of a meaty, chewy, heavier bodied cigar. I'd say if you're a newer cigar smoker, you probably want to wait a little later in the day. It's about 10 o'clock here.
yeah, a little early for this, but it's also really well packed. And if you know anything about Torano cigars, if you're a Torano cigar smoker, and I do smoke a lot of them, they're consistently well made. And also
you,
I
guys.
like this is just me personally, I like the flavor of Honduran tobacco.
Me too.
It has this kind of, I don't know, kind of like a caramelly kind of, or I don't know how to describe it. I just like it.
A lot of people compare it to like an earthiness, I think.
Yeah,
That's
it's just-
what they say.
Yes.
A lot of people say it's got those darker, kind of almost like soil-like. You can taste the soil
Totally agree with that description. Yeah, I think earthy when I think Honduran tobacco, and I like that flavor a lot.
I love this concept of the blend. Like, it's I think of it. I don't think of it as like a spreadsheet. Hearing the story, I think of it more as like, your grandmom's recipe book that's annotated and it's got notes all over the place.
Sure.
And,
Exactly.
Sure, it is.
something very romantic about that. You know.
Yeah.
And it's fun reading the notes that somebody would have written 20 years ago
Yeah.
about the flavors, how they described flavors, and and that's evolved as well too. I think cigar manufacturers 20, 30 years ago, it was either like it, don't like it. In other words, there was they weren't as colorful in their description sometimes of taste, which was interesting too.
It seems like a lot of that has been ported over from the wine community.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely right.
So.
All right. Well, anyway, Charlie, thank you for joining us today.
It's been great.
This has been
Thank you, guys.
really a good experience, and this is quite a hefty cigar
Yep.
for me anyway. But maybe before we go, just you might want to recommend maybe what the cigar. When would be a good time to smoke the cigar, or maybe with what you want to pair it with?
Well, I think I always find it interesting in talking to people about, because your heavy might be my medium. I think it's difficult. I like this. I'm a guy. I can smoke this cigar. I'm not a really heavy smoker, but I can smoke this cigar. Maybe not a morning cigar, but certainly afternoon and beyond.
Yeah.
I think a nice Scotch, or I'm a big rum. I'm a big Cuba Libre guy, so I like either a little rum and Diet Coke or a little Zacapa. More premium rum with a Vault cigar. I think goes well.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Well, that's it for today. And once again, thanks to Charlie Torano for coming in and taking the time to do this, and Lou. So see you next time on Smoke Break.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks a lot, Charlie.